In a shocking turn of events, a well-known liberal journalist takes a shot at the legendary Keanu Reeves in a public setting. The tension builds as the journalist's mocking words echo through the crowd, only for Keanu's stunning response to leave everyone speechless. Watch as the unexpected unfolds, proving once again why Keanu remains an icon of grace and wisdom. Don't forget to comment below and let us know where you're watching from. Keanu Reeves' calm and poised response stole the spotlight at a prestigious charity gala after a journalist unexpectedly directed a jab his way. The event, held at the luxurious Fairmont Grand Hotel, was a dazzling display of grandeur. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, casting a warm glow on the sea of elegantly dressed attendees. Their murmured conversations blended seamlessly with the sophistication of the annual gala's atmosphere. The gathering boasted an impressive guest list, including leading business icons, Hollywood celebrities, and prominent journalists, all uniting to support a cause aiding underprivileged youth. Beneath the glittering surface, an undercurrent of anticipation grew as the evening's keynote speaker prepared to address the room. Among the attendees, seated inconspicuously near the back, was 18-year-old Keanu Reeves. Despite his understated demeanor, Keanu's tall figure and composed presence naturally drew attention. Invited discreetly by a family friend, he attended not to bask in the limelight but to observe. His piercing blue eyes quietly scanned the room, taking in the details with a calmness beyond his years. The evening progressed with polished precision. A string quartet filled the air with elegant music, while servers floated gracefully between tables, offering champagne and delicate hors d'oeuvres. Conversations and gentle laughter provided a lively backdrop as guests mingled. However, the evening's true highlight was the much-anticipated speech. The journalist headlining the gala, celebrated in liberal media circles for their razor-sharp wit and bold opinions, had been eagerly awaited. Renowned for their fiery commentary, they were a divisive figure, praised by some and criticized by others. The room's energy shifted as the MC introduced the journalist. Voices hushed, glasses were set down, and all attention turned toward the podium. Even Keanu, his expression steady and unreadable, leaned back slightly in his chair. The journalist approached the stage, exuding confidence with a bright smile. Their sleek black suit only added to their commanding presence. Polite applause welcomed them, but an underlying tension hung in the air. Many wondered if they would push boundaries tonight, as they often did. As they began speaking under the spotlight, the room's elegance would soon collide with an unforgettable moment. Starting light-heartedly, the journalist's opening remarks were engaging, peppered with charm. They joked about local traffic woes and reminisced about a humorous mishap involving a champagne tower at a previous gala. Laughter rippled through the audience, melting some of the evening's formality. But the tone gradually shifted. What began as a casual commentary on politics and culture became a pointed critique. The journalist poked fun at notable political figures, drawing mixed reactions from the audience, some laughing, others exchanging uneasy glances. Then the spotlight turned toward Donald Reeves. Well, we can't talk about the state of the world without mentioning the man who made orange the new black, they quipped, earning scattered laughter. Love him or hate him, you have to admit, he's the kind of gift that keeps giving for folks like me. The audience's reaction was a mix. Some openly chuckled, while others squirmed uncomfortably in their seats. Keanu sat quietly at his table, motionless, his expression giving away nothing. If the journalist was aware of his presence, they showed no sign of it, not yet at least. The jokes kept rolling, each one cutting deeper. The journalist then shifted to Reeves's policies, his tweets, and his public appearances. The initial laughter in the room began to dwindle, giving way to a rising unease among the attendees. But the journalist wasn't done. "And of course," they added, pausing just long enough for dramatic effect, "we can't ignore his most overlooked legacy, the next generation. I mean, let's talk about Keanu." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Heads turned toward him, their gazes locking on Keanu, who remained utterly still. His face, now the unwilling center of attention, stayed calm. The journalist kept a playful tone, but their words carried a sharp edge. "Imagine growing up in a literal golden tower surrounded by marble everything, and your dad tweeting about Coffeefy while the rest of us are just trying to get through a Monday morning. That's got to build some character." The attempt at humor landed awkwardly. A few nervous laughs bubbled up, but most sat in shocked silence. The uninvited spotlight had squarely found Keanu, who, rather than faltering under its weight, maintained an unshaken composure. His calm demeanor refused to crack. What came next, however, would leave the entire room stunned. The air seemed to tighten as everyone watched. Every eye in the room fixed on Keanu Reeves, a young man thrust into this moment without warning. The journalist's sharp words lingered heavily, and the crowd collectively braced for his reaction. Yet, Keanu didn't flinch. He didn't fidget or look around anxiously. Instead, he remained perfectly still. His face was calm, his expression impossible to read. His hands rested lightly on the edge of the table, his stillness commanding the room. The growing silence became almost unbearable. A few people exchanged uneasy looks, their discomfort spreading. Even the journalist began to falter, their confident smirk fading slightly as their gaze drifted to Keanu's table. Maybe they had expected a laugh, a shrug, anything but this quiet resolve. Keanu's stillness wasn't apathy, it was something deeper. His understated presence seemed to swell as the seconds dragged on. The room, lively with chatter and laughter moments before, now felt heavy with realization. Even those who had laughed earlier seemed to grasp the weight of the moment. His silence wasn't just an absence of words, it was a clear statement. "I hear you, I see you, and I am unmoved." A quiet murmur finally broke the tension as someone near the stage leaned in to whisper to a companion. The journalist cleared their throat, trying to regain some semblance of control over the room. "Tough crowd," they murmured into the mic, forcing a weak laugh that hung awkwardly in the air, unreturned. The atmosphere was stifling, as if an unseen pressure had settled over everyone. Then Keanu made his move. With purpose and calm, he slid his chair back, the soft scrape of wood against the floor slicing through the silence. Rising to his full height, just over 6 feet, he exuded a quiet authority that seemed beyond his years. His eyes swept the room deliberately before locking onto the journalist, his composure as steady as his unspoken command of the space. Without uttering a word, he had the audience transfixed. Conversations at the back faded into nothingness as all attention turned to him. Keanu left his seat and began walking toward the stage, his stride measured and assured, his shoulders squared as if the weight of the moment rested lightly upon them. The journalist froze in place, their earlier confidence draining visibly with each of Keanu's steps. The room watched, breath held, a mix of intrigue and apprehension rippling through the crowd. Nobody knew what was coming, but there was no mistaking one thing. Keanu was about to claim the moment. When he stopped just short of the stage, the room seemed to hold its collective breath. Time stretched unbearably as he stood there, a picture of unshakable composure. Then, in a voice that was steady and unyielding, he spoke, the words slicing through the tension like a knife. "Thank you for your insight," he began, his tone calm yet firm, catching both the journalist and the audience off guard. There was no anger, no indignation, only an eerie confidence that seemed far beyond his years. "I've grown up watching people make assumptions about me, my family, and my life," he continued, his gaze unwavering as it pinned the journalist. "It's almost like a game for some, a way to fill in the blanks when they don't know the whole story. And I get it. We're public figures. It comes with the territory." The room remained silent, spellbound by his poise and the clarity of his words. Even those who had snickered at the earlier jokes now sat rigid, their unease plain. "But there's something that often gets overlooked," Keanu said, his tone shifting subtly, gaining an intensity that pulled everyone deeper into his orbit. "Behind every headline, behind every punchline, there's a person, someone with struggles, dreams, and their own story. You might think you know me because of who my father is, but you don't, not really." The journalist, gripping the edge of the podium, looked increasingly unsettled. Keanu's words weren't an attack. They were a reflection, holding up a mirror to the weight of what had just transpired. "What I've learned," Keanu continued after a measured pause, "is that respect shouldn't have to be earned. It should be given freely, especially when you don't know someone's story." A murmur swept through the crowd, but Keanu wasn't done. Shifting slightly, he now directed his words at both the journalist and the audience. "We live in a time when tearing each other down is far too easy," he began, his tone steady, yet infused with quiet determination. "Words carry weight. They can wound or they can mend. They can split us apart or they can bring us together, and honestly, I think we could all benefit from a bit more of the latter." The room was captivated. Keanu's voice, calm and assured, seemed to carry a significance beyond his years. It was clear he wasn't merely reacting to the moment. He was addressing something much deeper, something universally understood. Taking a step back, his gaze returned to the journalist. "I hope this gives you something to think about," he said softly, his words devoid of malice but filled with an undeniable strength. The silence that followed was profound, broken only by the quiet sound of his shoes on the polished floor as he walked back to his seat. The room remained motionless, stunned into stillness. Even the journalist, who moments before exuded confidence, seemed frozen, their earlier bravado completely dismantled. As Keanu took his seat, a single, tentative clap from the front broke the quiet, quickly growing into a wave of applause. Within seconds, the entire ballroom was on its feet, erupting into a thunderous standing ovation. Some clapped out of admiration, others out of a sense of relief for the tension that had gripped the room moments before. The journalist at the podium attempted a strained smile, but clearly understood the spotlight had shifted. Meanwhile, Keanu sat composed, acknowledging the people around him with a polite nod. It wasn't modesty or embarrassment. It was the confidence of someone who had spoken precisely what needed to be said. By the end of the gala, the impact of Keanu's response had already begun to ripple far beyond the walls of the event. Clips of his speech, discreetly recorded by attendees, quickly flooded social media platforms. Within hours, the footage was spreading like wildfire, capturing the attention of countless viewers. Tweets, Instagram stories, and TikTok videos documented the powerful moment, often accompanied by captions praising Keanu's poise and calling out the journalist's questionable humor. One viral tweet proclaimed, "Keanu Reeves just gave a masterclass in grace and respect." Another widely shared post from a well-known celebrity stated, "No matter what you think about his family, this young man reminded us of something truly important tonight." As the night unfolded, conversations about the incident ignited across various platforms. People debated not only the journalist's conduct, but also Keanu's unexpected ability to turn a tense situation into a lesson in dignity. By morning, the story had made its way to mainstream media outlets. Headlines highlighted Keanu's maturity, with some calling it a defining moment for a young man who had spent much of his life under the harsh glare of public scrutiny. Articles examined the layers of the event, from the weight of Keanu's words to the ethical implications of the journalist's remarks. The journalist, now facing a wave of backlash, released a public statement the following day. In it, they acknowledged their misstep, stating, "Comedy and commentary are powerful tools, but they come with a responsibility. I crossed a line last night, and I've apologized to Keanu Reeves. While some appreciated the gesture, the apology was far from universally accepted. Critics argued it lacked sincerity, while others questioned why such a moment needed to occur in the first place. The debate spilled onto talk shows, podcasts, and online forums, sparking heated discussions. Some commentators viewed Keanu's speech as a much-needed call for civility in an increasingly divided world. Others saw it as a poignant reminder that even public figures, especially young ones, deserve basic respect and empathy. Despite the media frenzy, Keanu seemed largely unaffected. While the world dissected his words and debated their significance, he returned to his daily routine with the same quiet composure that had defined his demeanor at the gala. Those close to him described him as grounded, unfazed by the sudden wave of attention. His actions at the gala weren't intended to gain admiration or make headlines. They were simply an honest reflection of his values and inner strength. Meanwhile, the incident continued to resonate with the public. Social media platforms buzzed with reactions, ranging from admiration for Keanu's poise to outrage at the journalist's remarks. Many shared personal anecdotes about the importance of respect and civility, drawing inspiration from Keanu's response. The conversation extended far beyond the event itself, touching on broader themes of accountability, kindness, and the power of words to unite or divide. For many, Keanu's calm and thoughtful words served as a reminder that even in moments of discomfort and scrutiny, grace and composure can leave a lasting impact. As the days passed, it became clear that the echoes of his speech would continue to be felt, not just by those in the room that night, but by a much wider audience. If this film touches your heart, leave your mark with a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to explore more meaningful stories with us. Share your feelings with us and tell us your own stories. Every word you share is a building block that helps create our strong and enduring community. Together, we'll create a warm space where everyone can share and connect. Finally, don't miss the incredible stories coming your way soon. We're always here to bring you the best selections, full of deep values, yet entertaining. See you there.